It's the 4th of July, and I'm at the beach, of course. And you know, in the summertime, I tend to like to talk about movies about sharks. So I figured today, I guess we're gonna check out the Sharktopus movies, because why not? And I guess, I don't know, we're gonna see what does me in first. These movies, or this freezing cold California water.
So this starts in 2010 with Sharktopus, which was a sci-fi original film that was directed by Declan O'Brien, who was responsible for a bunch of the Wrong Turn movies, but mostly the ones I really hated, so I have a bad feeling about this. We start off with a shark off the coast of Santa Monica, but it's taken out by the Sharktopus. Part shark, part octopus. And now I'm starting to wonder if that's where they got the title from. Eric Roberts is here because where isn't Eric Roberts? And remind me to tell you all the story about going to his house one day. Sharktopus is a Navy experiment to create a super weapon, and Roberts' daughter is played by the girl from 12, 12, 12. And I swear to God, if there's a scene where she's in bed with Sharktopus heading down south, I will riot. In a freak accident, the control device that keeps S11 in check is damaged, setting it free, and it starts attacking and then heads to Puerto Vallarta. Roger Corman makes a cameo and they recruit Andy here to help them out. This guy is reading an issue of H magazine, which is a Spanish men's mag, and this one is from the March of 2010, so that appears to be our year. Ralph Garman pops in for like a second, and S11 attacks an assortment of beachgoers, since it's not entirely stuck in the water and can walk around on its tentacles. Nicole does her damnedest to hide her accent.
Blue Water didn't hire you to think. Hired you to do a job. And if you can't do it, we'll find someone who can. Do me a favor. Stay out of my business and focus on the shooting.
And Sharky's fairly resistant to bullets, but Dr. Sands turns out to be a pretty bad guy. And this dude has a pretty interesting death scene. The doc is killed and they end up at a pretty cool and real place that I went on vacation once, and it's Canopy El Eden. And they have zip lines here, but the big deal is that it's where they filmed Predator, and they even have some props and stuff around, which I'm guessing that they weren't allowed to film here for copyright reasons. And they have a final face-off with it. And remember in Predator when Arnold jumps off the waterfall? Well, here we get this. They're able to activate the kill switch in it, which blows it up, saving the day. That was followed up 4 years later, and I can't believe it took them 4 years to make a Sharktopus sequel, but they did with 2014's Sharktopus versus Terracuda. This one was directed by Kevin O'Neill, who also made Dino Croc and Dracano, so he knows what he's doing, okay? He's apparently also not the comic book artist Kevin O'Neill, a completely different guy. We start with a flashback to the original, and then sometime later, an egg sac is discovered with a baby sharky inside. Lewis is here and owns the company that originally made S11 and now has a new weapon, Terracuda, which is a cross between a pterodactyl and a barracuda. Of course. It's sabotaged though, and the totes on the attack, killing at random. We then find out that the baby Sharktopus is now fully grown and is an attraction at a theme park, and she says that they've been training him for the past 6 months. So it's possible that that's how old it's supposed to be, and this may be merely 6 months after the original, but it's also possible that it's longer, and that's just how long they've been training it since it's become fully grown. Lorena's computer shows us some photos on there and show a baby Sharktopus in February of 2014, and a much bigger tooth in April. So I think it's only supposed to be 6 months old, and if it was born around February, then we're in August or so now. I don't know how long an egg sac can exist underwater, but I think it's possible that it was supposed to be born very soon after the first one died. So the first film may have also been set in early 2014. Symes discovers that Sharktopus is alive and they decide to send it after Terracuda. They take it to the ocean and the two monsters start to duke it out, and then there's a pretty random cameo from Conan O'Brien playing himself and getting eaten by Sharktopus in a sequence that was also directed by Roger Corman, who also produced this film. The two creatures basically rampage for a while, and oddly there's a receipt here from 2013, but it could just be old. And after a series of attacks, Symes is killed, and they blast Terry with a harpoon rocket just as Sharky attacks, and it explodes, seemingly destroying them both. But it appears like our title buddy survives. The trilogy would then wrap up 1 year later with 2015's Sharktopus vs. Whalewolf, which was once again directed by O'Neill. And Johnny Rico is in this one, and Sharkdo is also back here, causing troubles in the Dominican. Felix here was born in 1983 and played baseball 5 years ago, and Amanda Carrington is here doing some sort of like accent.
I can take you places, Mr. Rosa, that you have never been. Of course, this is experimental. There may be a few side effects.
Her nurse is the street side Wonder Woman, and Felix volunteers for her DNA manipulation. And she's apparently been a colleague of the first film's Dr. Sands and the second film's Symes. And here's the thing. This guy says that Sharktopus was in Mexico 6 months ago, and in America after that. So, since they said the 6-month number in the last film, that solidifies our timeline. The first film takes place in early 2014, with the second film taking place 6 months after that in fall of 2014, and this one takes place right after, since he says it's still 6 months since the first attacks. So, all 3 films take place in 2014. Felix starts to transform under the full moon and then becomes this thing that I suppose is a cross between a whale and a wolf. It takes to the water and starts a fight with Sharky, and come on, look at how dopey this thing looks. And they've truly embraced the goofy here. Because there's also some voodoo stuff happening, and Whaley attacks the dock, and Casper escapes captivity through a series of ball punches, which is a technique that a lot of films are apparently missing out on. And it all ends up on a baseball field, and Whalewolf actually wins the fight, electrocuting Sharktopus, and he's then blown up. But voodoo brings the big guy back, I guess, but you know, he hasn't come back since then. There's been no more Sharktopus movies for some reason.
So there you have it, 3 movies. Decent continuity, I'm not mad at it. It's not the best, but certainly not the worst. Same thing for these movies. They're kind of typical sci-fi stuff, although it is kind of fun. I enjoyed them, I'm not mad at them. If you've seen them, let me know down below what you thought of the Sharktopus movies. Oh gosh! And of course, like the video, subscribe to the channel, do all that stuff, and check out my Patreons on patreon.com/movietimeline. Holy crap, this is a little harder than I thought it would be. I apologize. But in the meantime, happy 4th of July, everybody. And we'll see you on the next great video. Bye. Oh.